Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the July 23rd, 2024 legislative session of the Town of Austin. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Councilmember Meyer,
Present.
Councilmember Filterwheel,
Here.
Councilmember Manicchio.
Here.
Councilmember Wines,
Present.
Supervisor Feldman.
Present.
Public hearing, zoning petition for BE zoning district.
Good.
Yeah, please put your name and your address there in the paper that's in front. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Supervisor, members of the Town Board, David Steinmetz from the law firm of Zaring Steinmetz. Pleased to be back before your board, once again representing Crotonville owner, the current and new owner of the GE, the former GE training facility. I'm joined this evening by Clay McPhail from my client group, Alexa Sikoriak and John Canning from our engineering and planning firm, Kimley Horn. I'm going to try to be very brief because we've already opened and conducted our public hearing. We've already made a preliminary or initial presentation. We're here in connection with a zoning petition that we filed, really to clarify and modify some of the proposed zoning text to allow the proposed use and continued use of this site, which would include hotel, restaurant, as well as the conference center. The public hearing was opened by your town board on July 9th. We appeared as a team in front of your planning board last week on July 17th. We received comments from the planning board, from the public, from your board. I'm also pleased to state for the record that the Westchester County Planning Department reviewed our zoning petition and issued a letter under the New York State General Municipal Law 239M supporting our application and recommending in favor of adoption. And just a few housekeeping items. We heard some concerns raised about the use of the phrase senior housing and the fact that we had initially proposed active adult or 55 and over housing. We are prepared to eliminate that from the proposal. We understand the comments and the concerns that were raised. It is by no means a priority item for our client, though when we defined potential senior-oriented uses, we did include that. It is not unusual to do so. However, if in fact the site was ever proposed for some kind of senior housing, it would now be limited to the more traditional independent living, assisted living, and memory care type uses. Should anything change in the future, we would obviously need to come back and further clarify the zoning. We received some comments about public trails being introduced and permitted on the property. We're exploring that. We don't have a final answer for that, so we're going to come back to you and your professional staff on that. There are some issues about connectivity and how that would work, but we are further exploring that. We spent a fair amount of time looking at parking and site plan issues. We talked about that extensively with the planning board. We have reviewed some comments that we obtained and received from your outside planning consultant, Nelson Pope and Voorhees. Also discussed it with your village council. So we believe that by the time we get to the end of the public hearing and the rezoning process, we will have a good, clear understanding of the functionality of the proposed parking. John Canning is here tonight if you have questions and want to better understand the vehicular movement. My client remains confident that the site absolutely can accommodate the parking demand for this use. The use is not all that different from what has historically been here for decades. There's a tremendous amount of additional open space that could be repurposed or land banked for parking. So we're not concerned about adequately parking the site. And lastly, we have a site visit that I understand was scheduled for July 30th. We look forward to those members of the board and or staff who have not recently been to the site, who want to come and see the site and better understand our surroundings. With that, we made our presentation last time. I do not want to belabor and overstay my welcome. We're here to answer any questions and obviously allow the public to continue to comment. My understanding is that you want to receive additional information before public hearing were to close. So against my normal instinct, and Christy knows this, she's going to be amazed, I am not asking for you to close the public hearing this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know we received some comments from the planning board. We have not had a chance to review them yet, so we are going to have Christy tell us what we're going to do next.
Yeah. So obviously this is a public hearing, so it will have to be opened up to the public in case there are any comments. This evening, there was a memo that was prepared by myself and the town's planner, Valerie Menastra, as it relates to the secra and zoning petition comments on this application. Just for a refresher, this board is lead agency, so you will ultimately have to make a determination, Environmental Quality Review Act, before any further action can be taken with respect to any of the applications related to this project, including the planning board site plan. So we are not in a position to do that tonight. From my discussions with Valerie, I think at your next legislative session, scheduled legislative session, which is August 13th, have what's called an environmental assessment form part 2 prepared for you, which identifies those issues that as of that date still have the potential for a moderate to large impact that the applicant will then have to address. And then we'll go from there in terms of environmental, if there are any at that point. As Mr. Steinmetz said, they're still working on providing us with additional information. So we'll have to wait and see 3 weeks from now where we stand. But this is a continuation of the public hearing, so it will be open to the public. And then I would recommend that the board continue the public hearing to your August 13th.
Have a motion to
No, you have to open it to the
Uh,
public.
open.
Is
Oh, sorry.
anybody on the public that would like to speak in regard of the public hearing? Just come on up, please. Just please put your name down and your address, please. Thank you.
Hi, could I ask, make a request to have that last map put back up there? Please? I just have a couple of questions. And this can't be detached, so I'm just gonna have to shout. Sorry.
They're not going to be able to.
If-
You can hear.
Does it come off? Can you go to the one over here so we can see it?
Whichever one is, this will take me to, that's great. I just have a question about the yellow lines, because these yellow lines look like the property lines, am I correct? Okay, then this blue is over people's property, is that, because this is a yellow property line? Correct?
So I think if you just.
Please.
So
Do you want
for the
to-
record, John Canning with Kimley Horn. So that's from Nearmap and that's their tax records. So it may or may not be accurate. So basically it's like anything you get off the internet, it's the reputed property lines, but it may or may not be accurate.
To clarify, the rezoning petition strictly relates.
Can you hold the microphone?
The rezoning petition, ma'am, and I apologize, I didn't get your name. Violet, the zoning petition only relates to the property that our client owns. We're not attempting to rezone or change anything other than in the BE zoning district, which is their property is the only property as council can confirm in that district. So any confusion about the map, appreciate the comment. No one's trying to rezone anyone else's property.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for clearing that up. I just want to say once again, that this is a really big change for those of us who live there to have 300 units possibly put up. And I was hoped there would be some way that we could all work something out where we would all be happy. And I'm sorry if there are going to be public trails in what was once private property. We need to be compensated some way for that in terms of protection. Because right now I feel very safe where I live because there was GE and now whatever property there, and there's guards there. And there was a sense of control when GE had people over. The people were registered. They knew who they were. Now you're talking about opening this up to just public trails and people coming at all hours of the night and kids partying. There's already been an issue with that where a gunshot went off and I had to call the police one night and it wasn't on GE's property. I just want to be very clear about that. It wasn't on your property. It was on where the turnoff is to 9A off of Cedar Lane, where the overpass is. There's a little tiny piece of grass. Well, kids will be kids. And that little tiny piece of grass has trees. And they go into the little tiny piece of grass with trees and you can see beer bottles there. And, you know, it is what it is, what it is. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's happened more than once. And, you know, that's enough. You know, I really don't want to encourage that or have an area that allows for that to happen. And when I did purchase my house some 31 years ago, and I realized things change, I did purchase because of the privacy. That was a big factor in the decision to live where I'm living. So that's all I want to put that out there and make everyone aware of that. Thank you again for clearing up the issue with the privacy, with the property lines. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else on the public that would like to speak on the public hearing? No, is anybody on Zoom that would like to speak in the public hearing? No. All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing to the August 13 legislative meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
you.
Supervisor and town board announcements.
All right. I understand. Okay. The spray park at Lewis Single Waterfront Park is open. The park is open 7 days a week from noon to 7 p.m. When it's over 90 degrees, we've been extending the hours from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. The only exception is that Wednesday, next Wednesday, the 24th and the 31st and August 7th, it will be opening at 3 p.m. due to the camp kids being down there. The River Jam concert this Friday has Powderfinger on stage at 7 p.m. The food trucks and craft beverage corral open at 5 p.m. Check out our website, OssininGriverJam.com, for more details. All right. For the first time, there is a waterfront shuttle bus for the Ossining River Jam. Beginning on July 12th, the Ossining Recreation and Parks will have a free shuttle bus on Fridays to help people who park on the other side of the tracks. The shuttle will loop around Westerly Road from the parking lot to from Water Street to Westerly Road from 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. The Summer Acoustic Music Series this Wednesday features Nat Longordo, there we go, with his brand of classic rock from the 70s and to today. The shows are at Market Square and begin at 7 p.m. The Monday Summer Jazz Concert Series continues on Monday, July 29th with a performance by Judy Silvano Quintet. All shows are at Henry Gordine Park for the Monday Summer Jazz Concert Series. We're excited that the Ossining High School Band has been selected to play at the 2024 Memorial Parade in Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade in Hawaii. There are many different fundraising efforts in the works. There's also a QR page on our supervisor's update. But the latest one, the OHS Alumni Music Festival, will be held Saturday, August 10th 12 noon to 6 p.m. labeled Band Together for Hawaii in support of the OHS band trip to Pearl Harbor. They will be accepting donations during the concert. And it is a host of OHS alumni musicians from many decades banding together to support the band members getting to Hawaii. On Friday, catch the Limitless, a dance work with Ivy at Bethany Arts Community. The show begins at 7 p.m. There are 2 events on Saturday at the Sing Sing Kill Brewery. The first one is Crate Vinyl Pop-Up, where you can buy and sell vinyl record albums between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. I don't believe there's a charge to bring your albums to sell. The second is Say Word, a storytelling show with the theme Lies. Show starts at 8 p.m. Sunday, July 28th is the Dance Now Festival at 2 p.m. at Bethany Arts Community. On Wednesday, July 31st, the Hudson Valley Books for Humanity will host a unique event, Poetry Camera Photo Walk at 7 p.m. The new innovation in photography where you point the camera and shoot, but instead of a photo, a poem comes out. I'd like to see how they do that. Anyway, the closing event of the LGBTQ listening library will be on Wednesday, July 31st, 7 p.m. at the Bethany Arts Center. Come and catch the open mic and queer album chat at the Bethany Arts Community. Westchester Collaborative Theater is hosting a stand-up comedy night on Friday, August 2nd at 8 p.m. There will be a Sunday afternoon concert at Hudson Valley Books for Humanity on July 28th. Catch the sounds of Andrea Sapsonic and Andrew Mariano at 5 p.m. And as always, Ossining Public Library has all kinds of wonderful events that you can find on OssiningLibrary.org. Thank you. Anybody else have any events?
No.
Okay, great.
No.
Thank you.
Any liaison reports? No. Thank you. Public comment on agenda items. Visitors shall be accorded to 1 4-minute opportunity to address the board and on any of the resolutions on the agenda. We don't have anybody in the public. Do you have anybody online? No. Okay. Board resolutions, approval of minutes, July 9, 2024. Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Ossining hereby approves the July 9, 2024 minutes of the regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of voucher detail report. Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated July 23, 2024 in the amount of $293,215.45. Oh my God, thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. A special legislative meeting, August 6, 2024, resolved that the Town Board of Town of Ossining calls for a special legislative meeting on Tuesday, August 6, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. and the first floor ballroom at the Ossining Municipal Building, 16 Crown Avenue, Ossining, New York, 10562, and via Zoom video conferencing, which information will be available at the townofossining.com. And before the resolve that the town clerk is hereby directed to notice said meeting as required by law. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Oh,
Aye.
Call for public hearing, Town of Ossining, proposed 2025-2027 community development Black Run CDBG projects. Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Ossining hereby calls for a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, August 6, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. in first floor boardroom at the Ossining Municipal Building, 16 Crown Avenue, Ossining, New York, 10562, and via Zoom conferencing, which information will be available at the townofossining.com website in the matter of town's application to the Community Development Grant Block Grant 2025-2027 application cycle as part of the Westchester Community Urban County Consortium. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be having a presentation on that momentarily.
Okay. Resolution modifying location of town legislative meetings, whereas if annual reorganization meeting, the town board established by resolution, the location is of its legislative meeting for the year, which its town legislative meeting is scheduled to occur in the Bristol Farm Police Court Facility 8688 Spring Street, Nauset, New York 10562, and whereas it has come to the town board attention that there are certain conflicts with the meeting's location to the town board wishes to address. Now therefore be resolved that the town board hereby modifies the meeting location to the Ossining Municipal Building, 16 Crown Avenue, Ossining, New York, 10562 for the following legislative meetings, August 13, 2024, and August 27, 2024. Before the resolve that the town clerk is hereby directed to notice said meetings location as required by law. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
New York State Liquor Authority Special Events Permit, Summer School Jam with Parrot Beach. Resolved that the town board of town of Austin hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign the landlord authorization form for the New York State Liquor Authority Special Event Permit application made by 3 Westerly Bar and Grill for the Summer's Cool Jam by Parrot Beach event on August 6, 2024, which a rain day of August 20, 2024 at Los Angel Park. And before the resolve that the applicant will provide proof insurance and the letter indemnity to the town in the form acceptable to council to the town. I have a motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Authorized request for proposals, multi-sport county a Ryder Park. Resolved that the town board, town of Austin hereby authorizes the insurance of a request for proposal for multi-sport court a Ryder Park in 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Appointment, seasonal intermediate clerk, supervisor's office. Resolved that the town board of town of Ossining appoints Evans Rodriguez Ossining to the seasonal position of intermediate clerk in the supervisor's office at an hourly rate of $18 effective retroactively to July 22, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, I just want to put into the record that it's not Austining, it's actually Briarcliff Manor. My apologies.
Okay,
Where the employee is from, not where he'll be working. So it says Evan Rodriguez Ossining. It, as amended, it should be Evan Rodriguez Briarcliff Manor.
Sure he's in Briarcliff? All right. Okay.
okay. Now, correspondence to be received and filed. Resolved that the town board of town of Austin hereby accepts the following correspondence, planning board minutes, April 17, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Monthly reports. Resolved that the town board of town of Austin hereby accepts the following monthly reports for the month of June 2024. Town Building Department, Highway Department, Town Clerk, and Dale Cemetery. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in
Yep.
favor?
Aye.
Visitor recognition. Visitors shall be accorded 1 4-minute opportunity to address the board on issues not related to the agenda but of relevance of the common good of the town. We don't have anybody on public and not online. Great. Do I have a motion to adjourn to work session?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for coming to our legislative session. Stay tuned for our work session.
Just for the record, the first item on the work session agenda presentation for Eagle Scouts project, Zach Eprecht, that has been adjourned as he will not be appearing tonight. So we'll be starting with item number 2.
Yes, but no. Thank you. Okay. We are excited to be presenting our 2025 to 2027 Community Development Block Grant, known as CDBG projects, this evening. And we'll be talking about different reasons and the different thoughts the board has on these projects. As we move forward into our next step, which is presenting them along with the village and any other not-for-profits at a meeting on the 31st to the CDBG rep and officials. So this is our introduction to introduce them to ourselves and to the public.
Okay, good evening, Town Supervisor and members of the Town Board. We're going to be talking about the Community Development Block Grant, as the Supervisor was talking about, for the cycle for 2025 to 2027. So a brief introduction to CDBG. So CDBG is a federal grant program from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. So the grant provides funds to low to moderate income communities for neighborhood revitalization and improvement. And for the past 40 years, the Westchester County Planning Department has been successfully administering the CDBG program. So each municipality that qualifies for CDBG grants can submit up to 4 project applications with funding reimbursement for each application not to exceed $200,000 for each of the projects. Each proposed CDBG activity must comply with the following. It must, 1, meet a national objective, being it could either benefit low and moderate income persons, aid in prevention/elimination of slums or blight, or meet an urgent community development of recent origin. It must also have a capability to meet performance measurement, be an eligible activity, and be adequately documented. And over the past couple of years, some of the projects that have been approved for the town by CDBG have been our electric bus, as well as our senior nutrition kitchen that was redone. And here's a couple of our staff members on opening day for the senior kitchen. So the first application that we're going to be submitting, and these are going in order of priority as per CDBG requirements, is for playground equipment and surfacing down at Lewis Ingle Park. So the first part of this application is going to be replacing old and damaged equipment in the current playground. Our goal is to bring in new concepts to help nurture safe play. We also want to replace the current playground surface with an ADA compliant board in place rubber surfacing. So this will be placed under the new equipment and under existing fitness area equipment. And one of the playgrounds that we have been exploring to bringing is, oh, my apologies. This is actually the current status of the playground. As we can see, it's getting up there in years and in usage. Our kids love it very much. And we're proposing and bringing this type of model to become the new playground. It's kind of in the shape of a shift. We will be keeping the train, as we know everybody loves it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The train's not in bad shape and kids love that, but I thought a shipwreck was really appropriate down there.
The next prize we were mentioning is the playground surfacing. So currently we have an engineered wood fiber down placed at the playground. We will be upgrading it to a poured in place rubber surfacing, which would be more ADA compliant. And right now our cost estimate for the completion of this entire project will be $603,000, and that's for both parts combined. Our next application for a project would be for the decks and the fishing piers, again at Lewis Ingle Park. So the current fishing pier was built in the 1980s. And the current deck, as we can see in the pictures on the left, is warped beyond repair. So several piles are damaged and will need to be replaced soon. And the upgrades to railings to meet current safety standards are needed. And we want to add a connecting boardwalk to accommodate the number of people taking advantage of this affordable way to enjoy the Hudson and all it has to offer. And here are a couple of pictures of how the fishing piers are being used, as well as the sunsets that people have been enjoying down in the current area that we're trying to get fixed up. So the first part would be creating a proposed new pier for connecting the 2 existing piers with fishing deck and a sitting area. So these 2 decades-old piers are in need of replacement, and the addition of a connection will provide additional space for residents and visitors to fish or sit and enjoy the beauty of the Hudson River. So that's going to be part of the plan. And now off to the estimate for the piling and for the decking. So we need to purchase around 16 pilings, which would be an estimate of $60,000. 14 of those are needed to span the distance of 2 decks, and 2 pilings will be needed to replace the broken ones. Rocks will also need to be moved and reset after piling installation, and that's estimated to cost $23,000. The lumber and labor for decking has been estimated as $55,000. But however, we need to keep in mind that the decking price may change as we go along with the process, as the CDBG takes a couple of years to get activated. And so our current estimated total is $138,000 for this part of the project. Our third application is related to having bathrooms at the northern end of the park. So the main bathrooms are going to be relocated to the southern end of the park in order to be closer to the spray park as per the health department's recommendations. And that is part of the previous CDBG cycle. For this current CDBG cycle for 2025 to 2027, we are proposing applying a small satellite bathroom on the northern end of the park in order to accommodate seniors and those who have trouble walking the distance to the opposite end of the park. And this is kind of a proposed bathroom that we have been looking at. This would also be utilized during concerts and other community events at the waterfront. The delivery and installation estimate for the bathroom would be $235,000 with a site work estimate of $59,000. Bringing our total to $294,000. And our fourth application is related to sidewalk repairs and trees down at Lewis Engle Park as well. So the sidewalks at the waterfront are in disrepair. As we can see here in the couple of pictures, the sidewalks are slowly cracking, and you can see it. So what we're going to be applying for is for paving and curving, as well as widening the sidewalk to meet ADA compliance. Additionally, it has been noted that there's no shade anywhere near, like very limited shade to no shade near the walkway. Additionally, there's old tree stumps that have been left out in the lawn area. And as we can see here in the picture below, it's very much clear open space. There's really no shade down there. So number one, we'd be applying for lawn restoration and the planting of trees down there so they could offer shade to residents and visitors. And this project is slated to be done after other park restorations are complete. As we have been stating below, we do have other CDBG grants related to moving the bathrooms to the south side, as well as we have been working to get our stage updated as well. So this would all be done afterwards. So our estimate for doing that kind of work down there would be $156,000, $156,960. So the next steps in the CDBG, as the supervisor was mentioning, on July 31st, we will be presenting our CDBG applications via Zoom at 6:30 p.m. to the public. We will be posting that information on our town website page as well as the supervisor's update. And this will be a meeting along with the Village of Austining and the Austining Children's Center as well. They're going to be presenting their own individual CDBG projects. On August 6th, as we were mentioning in the agenda, we are going to be holding a public hearing on our applications at 16 Croton Avenue and via Zoom at 7:30 p.m. Once the public hearing is done, the town board will be voting on approving the applications that we're going to be putting forth. And on August 13th, we have the goal of submitting our CDBG applications to Westchester County. The due date is the 16th, but we're really trying to get there before everybody's rushing to do it at the last minute. So we really want to get it before that. And that's pretty much it. Are there any questions?
Say the maximum per project that is 200,000 or the project can't exceed 200.
That
That-
will receive, and that's a little bit of a gray area because the pricing and the financing for the playground, I gave the county the proposal. And the county is the one that came up with that budget. So it may be up to 300,000 that we'll get back, and there's a 50-50 match for any of these projects. So we'd be required to match 50-50. But we are allowed to look for other funding sources to help us with that.
I have a question on project number 4 with the tree plantings. We're not going to be putting them within the open lawn, right? I'm assuming you want to put them in the perimeter.
Right, so the wide open area, and of course, we'll be talking with site planner for the stage design. But I would expect that because we have so many different uses and tent things that go up in that area, that would not be the preferred spot for the trees, but along the walkway and on the southern end of the park where people tend to sit would be a more likely place.
Okay, good.
But we'd work with a landscape architect.
Sounds good. I am not.
The bathroom in the picture there is the one that is being, that she just took away.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the bathroom.
It's being
Sorry.
relocated. The sidewalks are already challenged, we'll say, and we do not expect the construction to nice. So, and these aren't even the worst. The other end is worse. Go back, Martha. Go back to the first one. We could start there. Sorry. Hard. So this playground equipment is probably 35 years old, 40 maybe. And the gentleman, Kyle from the county, they know different playground ages. So one of the things that they're telling us is that any playground replacements, they are requiring the poured in place ADA preferred surface. I asked if it was okay for a flood zone. He assured me that he has seen it used in flood zones and that it has held up admirably. So I'm gonna have to take him at his word or ask him to pay for a new one. No. Oh, sorry. Some of our equipment isn't that old, but we've been having to replace a lot of pieces. So we're gonna go for the bigger project, and if it doesn't get approved for the bigger project, then we'll go ahead with the smaller amount. Going on to the shipwreck. Okay, who doesn't love a shipwreck by a river? I really like this. It has the sliding thing off the edge that we may or may not be replacing on the other side. Well, apparently. You can go over the, the sharks or whatever it is. Anyway,
I think anything is an improvement in what's there now.
yes. Although the kids still seem to have fun. Okay, next. All right, we talked about the surfacing. Okay, the fishing piers are well used. Current standards are to have only 4-inch gaps, so children don't try to get away. So that would be an upgrade. Some of the piles have been damaged over the almost 40 years, which I think it was 87 that we figured out that it was built. So they've lasted a long time. That little piece, somebody decided to see if it would burn. That was fun. But the planking is at the point where the beams are warped, and it's almost impossible to get them to stay down. So it's time. And connecting the two, it's such a well-utilized space, and even just the benches, it's used anytime the ice isn't actually on the water. People are fishing there, even in the coldest days. So I think it'd be great to enhance that space and even have the connecting piece, so more people can sit and watch a sunset. And that's what that would look like. Does look like. And the bathrooms on the northern end, there's a playground on either side. One in Bourdain Park, and this is the end of the park where the seniors tend to sit. It's easier to get to, and it's not as big a walk from the parking area that we do have. Senior citizens who have walking and disabilities and challenges, and some of the more challenged people tend to use the northern end of the park, and not having a bathroom accessible is a problem. So I think it's important that that's available. So we will try. They were not in favor of a trailer bathroom, which I thought would be great. Storms came and we could just kind of pull it out of there. This is not their vision. They want a permanent structure. So we will find one that likes water. Talked about this. Anybody have any other questions? Is enhanced. All right, so we'll have an opportunity to polish up our language and review it with our coordinator and make our final our presentation on the 31st and have the public hearing. And if all goes well, hopefully we'll put it in by August 13th because the county thinks that perhaps their system will crash when everybody applies at once, and we're going to try to kind of beat that rush. It's a brand new system, and brand new systems are fun. Okay. Thank you, Martha. Next.
Okay, next. So next on our work session agenda is discussion about moving from Recycle Right app to the Recycle Coach app. So currently right now we have the Recycle Right app. It has been in function for a couple of years. It has been very, very helpful. I personally use it every single day to check out what I need to bring out, whether it's the garbage or my recyclables. So this currently the town as well as other different municipalities in Westchester have been applying for a DEC grant that has been reimbursing us 50% of the cost of running the app. This grant has been graciously been administered by the village of Tarrytown. And our current grant cycle ends as of December 31st of this year. And once this grant is done, it's, Tarrytown will no longer be administrating it. And the reason being is because of a new app called Recycle Coach. So Westchester County announced that they're going to be providing the Recycle Coach app free to all county residents and visitors. So the running of it, all the cost is going to be free for the municipalities. Nobody has to pay anything from the municipalities. The app will connect users with their municipal collection schedules, share local disposal and recycling information. It also will supply users with educational tools to help make it easier to recycle products. And the most innovative part that it has is that the app will feature a scanning function that uses image recognition technology to identify items and tell users how to properly dispose of the item. So you'll basically log into the app, take a picture, and it will show up letting you know how to recycle it if you wish to throw it out.
That's it.
So the transition from Recycle Right to Recycle Coach. So currently, as of June 2024, 7 out of the 19 Recycle Right participating municipalities have enrolled in the new platform and will soon begin informing the residents about the transition. The village of Briarcliff Manor is actually one of the 7 that has already made the switch. Sustainable Westchester is our partner to having gotten the Recycle Right app, and they're going to be working along with Westchester's County's Department of Environmental Facilities to make the transition as easy as possible for residents. So the first step would be completing the Recycle Coach client intake form. And it's basically a form that's going to ask, what days we have pickups, what streets do we have available, and we've been working hand on hand with the highway to get that form filled out. We also have to be signed off on a county form contract stating that the town board is in approval of us switching over to the app, and that will be on the agenda for the 13th. Once the form is filled out and they get the contract, the DEF is going to be reviewing it, and if everything seems okay with them, the onboarding process to switch us over to the app will begin. In step 3, the town will promote the Recycle Coach to residents. So this is where we're going to be posting out and letting everybody know to do the switch. We will also be offering helpful steps on how to navigate this new app as well. And are there any questions on the switch?
I am always in favor of saving money. So, and I am thankful to Westchester County for providing us this opportunity to have a quality app at no cost. So that works. And I see that some of the other communities are following suit. I'm appreciative for the grant opportunity that has been providing this service to our constituents. And, you know, we'll just have to do a good public campaign to get the information out that there's a new way to do it, and I think it's great. Any thoughts? Board?
Nope.
We all like to save money.
Yes, we all do. Yeah. So like
We've
I said,
established
yeah.
that.
So yeah, so we're gonna start slowly filling out all the paperwork and we're gonna start, you know, promoting stuff on our webpage to give everybody in advance notice that we're gonna be switching.
Perfect. With that, that ends our town work session. Thank you for joining us. Please give us any feedback on any of the items that we discussed. And we will be adjourning to executive session for advice of counsel.
No move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and have a good week.